today's workshop. All right. So then on the classwork tab, let me jump here then to my classroom here. And what's nice about this, right here from the classwork tab, is I can hit the create button. What can I all do with the create button? I can create an assignment. Here I've got the Cami assignment because I have this extension turned on. And so I have that option here in Google Classroom because it plays nicely with Google. I can create a quiz assignment, question, material, and reuse post. So you can reuse a post from an archive class, from another class. I know Katie said earlier, she might like the concept of creating that master class and then just reuse post from that instead of creating the post in first hour. Again, you do what works for you guys, but here's the reuse post. And then here I can create topic from here as well. So don't panic if you don't remember everything right here, but let me just jump in and create an assignment. So what I can do in order to create an assignment, you always have to have a title here. So if I want to create an assignment, let's say we're learning about the USA geography. So I can type in a title here and then instructions. I can put instructions here as well. Sometimes if I have instructions on another file in here, sometimes I put them here too. Just it's another spot for the students to see what's expected of them. And then I can go here and add. So right here, I can go to my Google Drive. I can put in a link, a file that's not in my Google Drive, or even a YouTube video. So let me just start off with something from Google Drive. And let's say I want to put down this slide deck that I pushed out to everyone to introduce yourself, and I hit insert. Now, once I do that, I have the option to have students to view the file. So if I give them viewable rights, they can just view it. They just like you can view that slide deck I shared with you this morning that has that talks about Google Classroom, that has our challenges in it as well. And I just gave you viewable rights. If I wanted you to edit the file, I could share this out, and I wanted everyone to edit in the class, like I pushed out this exact slide deck to you that everyone has access to edit. And or I could make a copy for each student. So let me do one here for edit so that everyone in the class who receives this file, this assignment, will get to edit it. Now, if I go back to my Google Drive and I go and add the exact same file, and so I selected it, I clicked on it, and I hit insert here in just a second. But before I do that, when I go to my Google Drive, do you see here it has my most recent files? I can go and upload from my drive here. I can go to my drive to access everything I have in my drive. And notice, in order to upload something from your Google Drive, it is only showing my folders here in the beginning. And then if I keep scrolling down, I've got the files here that aren't in folders, okay? I could even go to my shared drive and access something here. I could even, if I've starred any folders or files out there, I could get it from there as well. But let me go back to recent and select this one, and I'm going to insert it. So it's the exact same file, and I want to show you the difference then. Oh, okay. It won't let me attach it because it's already attached. So I've got to do a different file here. Let me do the introduction file. Let me insert that then. And let me make a copy for each student. And I'll show you the difference here between editing a file and make a copy for each student. Then I can come over here, and where it says for, I'm going to assign this to my Google 101 students. Again, can I do multiple classes at a time, I can, but the same thing on stream applies to this, that if you do one class at a time, you can choose the students that receive it. And then, but if I do 2 classes at a time, it goes out to all of the students. Now with the points here, I can give them points. Again, here's another thing I learned. At first, sometimes I didn't always put points on assignments, and the kids thought, well, heck, if there's no points, if I'm not going to get points for this assignment, why am I going to do this? So I would always, if I wanted it to be something the students to do, I would always put points there. Again, the due date, I can put a due date and a time. So let's say it's August 4th and it pops up 11:59. I can change the time. I'll just use that. So it shows when it's due. Topic. Now I can put, choose the topic that this is under. So this is, if it's under geography, but let's say I don't have a topic there, I can do one of 2 things. I can create a topic from right here as well. You saw earlier, I could create a topic from the create button, but I could also do it here, or I could just put it on under no topic. I could also add a rubric to this if I wanted to. I could also do an originality report. I say originality report because that's what Google had it say probably for this last year, but they've recently here changed it in the last month to just say check plagiarism. What an originality report does is it checks plagiarism. So I think that's smart how they just changed it to say plagiarism instead of originality, because hey, just get right to it, so we know what it is. I just, in my brain, I still have it, I still call it the originality report. So I can do that. Now with the G Suite Apps for Education accounts, you will get up to 3 free. If you learn more, it'll tell you that as well. Now, what that does, if you turn this on, it will have the kids run a plagiarism report before they turn it in. And when they run it, it will highlight anything that they find word for word out there on a website. It will tell them where they found that passage from. So then on the front end, hopefully this is a teachable moment to let the kids know, hey, this is going to be plagiarism. You need to reword this into your own words and then turn it in. It also then lets the teacher run the report as well. And then you can shoot that back out to the students. But hopefully, you know, if you do run these reports, you can teach them on the front end to do it before they submit it. So that'll save you some work. So you can add that, but you only have up to 3 free per class. So if you think you're going to be using a lot for your class, if you're an English teacher out there, then you might want to, what some teachers have done to get around that is create a new Google Classroom each quarter. So then they can use 3 per quarter. Now, if you have the enterprise account where your school district pays for your Google accounts, your G Suite Apps for Education, then you have unlimited. But Google has been jumping on the bandwagon and pushing out some things that you get access to it free for, you know, you get a certain amount of them. And then if your school district pays for the enterprise account, then you would have unlimited. So then let's say I'm ready to assign this, I can go out and assign it. If not, click on this drop down arrow, I can schedule it. You know, if I knew I was going to be absent for the day, or I didn't want the kids to have access to this the night before, I wanted them to have it, you know, the next day, then I could schedule it, or I could save it as a draft and then assign it when I wanted it to be pushed out. So I will go ahead and assign it right now. So then it's pushed out for the students. Okay, yeah, great question about make a copy option. So the difference here about make a copy and the editing. Now, there was besides introducing yourself, there was rhyme or reason for me to give you this document that you could all edit. So right now, you know, you could all edit this, and I'll click on here, Tiffany's. Now, if I wanted to, okay, so Tiffany's got her Bitmoji classroom right here, perfect. If I wanted to, could I have added another picture here or added something else here on Tiffany's? I could. And when the students all have editing rights, they can go in and delete things, add things that they want to on the slide deck here. And this is when you push out something to edit file. So this, when I push this assignment out, the two students that I push this out to, they can all edit this file together. And then when you push it out to them, they won't show up as anonymous animals. We'll be able to know who's doing what. Right here, you guys are all showing up as anonymous animals because I pushed out the link for you to access. So with this then, so that was editing, you guys all edit. Now, if I push it out where that you guys all made your own copy, you wouldn't be able to interact and see everyone else's slide on this slide deck. So on this one, I pushed it out where the students could make a copy, and it's their own copy. Once you make a copy, they can edit and do everything, and I'll show you. Let me switch to Blake's account here. And here on Blake's account, it's showing I have it, the condensed notification that posted a new assignment. I think, is he still on mute? Yep, I've still muted him. He can't respond. Do you see how the comment box is taken away? But he can still see everything on the stream. He could see other students' comments here. If Blake wanted to, he could just go right here to the new assignment. Over here, it updates of what he's got due. But he could also go to classwork if he knows that, you know, where to look for when the teacher, when you post new things in classwork, that's fine. But if not, do you see how, you know, it could be overwhelming here to scroll down, like, okay, I know she posted something new. Which topic is it under? And, you know, especially if it's a year-long class and you have a lot of things that you've kept on here, then it could be overwhelming. So again, there's different ways to have this set up, and I'll talk about some other ways. But so right here, he can see, oh, this is due August 4th. He can click on it. He can go into these. He can view the assignment right here. And so here's the assignment screen for the student. This is Blake's account. So right here, he can open this up. And now, since Blake is opening this up, and this is what you have too, do you see Blake's picture up here on the screen where it shows anonymous animals? You may not yet while it's loading here, but hopefully you will here momentarily that Blake can go here. Could he go here and on Chris's, go and add a picture or add things here on others? He can. So can you see then up here where it's your anonymous animals, you can see, then you should be able to see, you see my picture, and then you should see Blake's picture. Blake won't see his picture, but again, this is if you share it out through their Google Classroom or through an email, through their Google account, you can see who's working on it. And then, you know, you should be able to see on slide 15, the picture of Blake. You can see my picture here on slide 16 because my account is on Tiffany's slide 16, and you can see my picture there. I'm just seeing anonymous animals because, again, I pushed out the link to you. So here, when I push it out for edit file to the class, all of the students can edit it, change it, delete it, whatever they want. Now, when I make a copy, so anytime you make a copy of something, do you see right up here? This is showing it's Blake's work. And if he clicks on it, what it does on the back end, Google Classroom names it. What do they name it? It's not a random name. They put the title here of what the teacher has, and then it puts their name. So it's got Blake LTC, his name, and then right up here, the title of the document. So gone are the days where the kids forget to put their names on their paper. It's right there on the title of this. Could he rename it? He could rename it. And then right here, so this is Blake's own copy, meaning he can go in and delete, make changes, add things, and change it the way he wants. So I'm just showing you real quick. Here he can delete, he can go here and insert. So he wants to insert a selfie, he can go to the camera, insert a selfie. And so I went to camera, insert selfie. I can look at the camera. I've got 2 different cameras here. And then if he likes it, he can click on it. The other day in a workshop, I was just thinking, if you don't like it, you can just hit cancel. Well, someone told me they kept hitting camera and they can see the different pictures here, and then they select which one they want. So then they can insert it, and then the other ones go away. Let me go ahead and cut this, and I'll put it on this first slide real quick just to show you. Okay, so this is Blake's own copy. It's not changing anyone else's work because it made his own copy here. So that's what make a copy does. This is what editing does if you push it out. And again, when I first was using this a few years ago with my students, I pushed it out where they could edit a document, and some kids were saying, well, Mrs. Schwartz, I don't have any questions on my paper. And well, Mrs. Schwartz, I had one question, now it's gone, because I gave them all editing rights. They didn't know what they were doing. I apparently didn't know what I was doing, or made a mistake, and I learned quickly from it that then I can go back in and push out a new file so it was only viewable, or push it out to make a copy. So let me go back to the teacher side of it. And here on the teacher side, so here I push this assignment out. It shows that I've assigned it to 2 people, 0 are turned in. What I can do as a teacher, I can still view the assignment. And what's nice about this then, again, right here is another place it shows me Blake is muted, but Lisa's not here. It shows me what's been assigned to them. This was their make a copy. And so if I click on it, even though Blake hasn't turned it in, I can click on it because as soon as I'm, share it out with the kids, it shares it with me as well, so I can see. So I can see, oh, Blake put a picture in. Oh, Blake's done this. I can see what he's done. If I see that he hasn't, maybe he's struggling on something, or I'm seeing that he's not finishing this, what I could do, I could come over here and add a comment. And I could say, I see you might be struggling. What can I help you with? Now, if you find yourself writing the same comment over and over again, guess what? Google has a comment bank. If I click here on comment bank, I can go to the comment bank, see all my different comments I have here. Let's say I want, please see me to go over the assignment. I can copy this to clipboard, and then I can paste it. If I want to, I can go and add a new comment to my bank. So if I come back up here, go down here to my private comments, then I can just paste it instead of typing the same comment over and over again, and I can post it. Okay, so let me switch back to Blake's account here. I know I'm going over a lot. Again, take a deep breath. You will have the recording here to go back over, and then you will find the more you work with your students with Google Classroom, it will get easier. Just, let them know that you're learning too, and you might be making mistakes, and you'll work through them. So do you see Blake hasn't turned it in yet? But here's the private comment from the teacher. Blake can add a private comment back to the teacher. So even though I muted Blake, when you mute a student, it's muting them from the class comments, not from private comments back and forth. And again, even when we were face-to-face with the students, I would have some students private message me here rather than ask me in class. They just felt more comfortable doing it that way. And then sometimes, depending on the age of the students that you're working with, they think, well, maybe I should know that answer, so I'm not going to ask the teacher in class, where other students can hear me, that maybe I'll just ask the teacher later. And this is another way that they can do it. And what's nice about this is it's tied to the assignment, rather than if they just emailed you and they said they don't understand, direction number 2 or whatever it is, you might think, okay, which assignment are they on? This is all housed in one place. You can see which assignment that they're asking you questions on, and you can reply back and forth here to the comments. Because again, some students feel more comfortable chatting back and forth with you via the computer than talking to you in person. So you've got that. So if I go back to this assignment here, here's what Blake was working on. He can see that I have it. Even though this was his make a copy, it's shared with me, and we can see that he's on this slide that the teacher's on slide 2 sees what I see. Okay, so I'm going to step back a minute and go back over the assignments. I know I kind of jumped in to some of the grading aspects of it. So let me go back to my classroom here. So right here, let me go back to my classwork page. What I did here, I went to the assignment and I assigned this to the students. Let's say I found a mistake and I need to go back into it and edit it. I can come up here, click on the 3 dots and edit it. You can almost edit everything that you pushed out to the students. There's a couple things you can't edit. So let me kind of go over that. So I'm editing the assignment. If I want to go back in and add anything, any files, I can. If I want to go and add a video, again, I can, just like in Stream, I can add a video here if it went along with this assignment, if I wanted the kids to watch it. I could also add a video here if I, could I add even a screencast that I took or, that I recorded? You can. So anything you can add here. So I can click add. And even though this has been assigned to the students, I can still go back in and change and add files here. So it says a YouTube video, 3 minutes. Do you see there's nothing I can change here because with the video, you don't need to give them access to editing or viewing. If at any time, if I don't want it there, I can click the X and it takes it away from that assignment. But as I was talking here, I don't know if you saw where I have it, each student will get a copy. This is grayed out. So the minute you push out something for it to make a copy for each student, you can't go back in and change that. If you do want to change it, what you would do is reuse this post, change it on a new post, and then go back in and delete this post. And I'll teach you how to reuse a post here in a minute. So another thing here, when I push this out to edit this file, let's say I made a mistake and I'm like, oh, I gave them editing rights. They don't need editing rights and viewable rights. I can go in and change it to viewable rights. So if I change it to viewable rights, then they can't go in and edit that. So I'll show you what that looks like. Then come up here and hit save. And then I'll switch back to Blake's here. And if he goes back into the assignment, again, he can go to it from here because I have that on my Stream. It's telling him Stream was updated. Or I can go to classwork and go to it. And immediately it puts the video in there. He can go and view the assignment. And before he had editing rights to this, now he should only have viewable rights. And how do we know the difference? Once it loads, it will show you that it should show me view only. And it's still loading here. And just like on the slide deck that I shared with you, view only, it shows view only there. If he goes in, oh, he still has editing rights. So did I do something wrong? Let's see, let me go back to it and edit. I put students can view file and hit save. Let me reload the page and see what happens now. So then it shows, you know, the teacher posted this at what time she edited it. All right, is it still, looks like it's still allowing me to edit it. I'll need to look into that. I'm doing something wrong. So if anybody knows out there what I'm doing wrong, please let me know. So going back here to Blake's then, if he's done with this assignment, he can then turn it in. When he clicks on turn in, he can click turn in again here to let him know, hey, you are submitting this assignment and turn in. Let's say he hits turn in and then, you know, a few seconds later, he realizes, oh, I forgot to do something. So he goes and clicks on it. And here it says view only. He can't, once he's turned it in, the teacher has the rights to it. They can't go in and change things once they've turned it in, just so that you don't grade it, and in the middle of grading, things are changed. So it locks it once they turn it in. So what he does, what kids would do, they would request access to get it to work on it. Well, instead of requesting access, what they just need to do is unsubmit it. When they unsubmit it, then they can go in and change the work. They can go back in and make the changes. Then once they go back and make the changes, then they can go in and then turn it in. So that's the big thing. Another thing I found with turn in is sometimes kids would hit the turn in button before they were done with their work. So that's why in my comment bank, I started to put, I would return their work and I would put a comment, please finish your work and turn back in, because they like to see on their screen that in their Google Classroom that they have everything turned in, and or to show their parents, hey, I don't have any work to do. I have everything turned in. Well, I would always return their work, put a comment, please complete the assignment, and then turn back in. Because some kids, I found, just hit the turn in button because they wanted to say they were done with all of their work. So here, this was on the student side. If I switch back to the teacher side, then it updates automatically. It shows me that one student's turned it in. It's been, one other student has it assigned, and it will organize it over here. It'll show you everything that's turned in for your students here, and all of the students down below that still need to work on it. So at any time when you go into the assignment, let's say you put down the wrong points it's out of. So I put 10 points. If it's supposed to be other points, I can click on these three dots here, and I can change my total points here at any time. So this is under this grading icon here. Here, do you see the see history of the file? I can click on the see history. I can see when Blake turned it in, when he unsubmitted it, when he turned it in, and when it was assigned. So you do have the file history of it if they, you know, turned it in, unsubmitted it to work on it more, and then turned it back in. So that's nice to see that as well. So it puts it up here in the window that I can see it right here. If I want to put it full screen on a new tab, I could open it up in a new window here as well. I can, again, go to comments, add the comment. Again, this is what I used a lot. Please finish your work and turn back in. Please finish the assignment and turn back in, whatever you want to say. Again, you can add whatever comments here. You've got the three dots here. Copy it, or, you know, use Control-C. You can edit it. You could delete it if you want, and then you can, you know, copy it to clipboard there too. So a couple different ways. And I will tell you, this look, they changed the interface of this a little bit since even Tuesday. So again, sometimes Google will push out updates and not tell you about all of the updates. But it's, sometimes the updates are just, is maybe the look of it. And then what you can do once you've graded all of them, or one other thing before I talk about once you've graded them all, you can, so right now I've got Blake with this assignment. I can see who's turned in, Okay, this wasn't assigned to them, but it was turned in here. It was assigned there. I could click on this arrow here to go from student to student work as well. But as soon as you grade the work, what you can do, you want to return it to them so then they have access. Well, there'll be some work that you don't think that you want to return to them. Maybe you might not want to return everything until everyone's turned it in, but I got in the habit of returning everything, whether it was right away or if I waited until I had everyone's graded. But to return, I can come up here and just return one at a time. Click on this drop-down arrow. I could return multiple submissions if I have several different assignments out there to return for the students. So that's another spot I can return. So then here, I really liked using this view. I could see if I only assigned one assignment or one file that it made a copy, I could quickly see like a thumbnail view of it to see if they've worked on it and or how far they are on it, even before it was turned in. So even if I go to, you know, switch over to each person's, I can see, you know, have a thumbnail view of it. So this was turned in. I can go to assigned and see the thumbnail view there as well. I can come over here, sort by status. Status means, is it turned in? Is it assigned? I could even sort by first and last name as well. But click here for all students so I can see everything. But with having multiple students here, you would have all of your turned in up top, and then underneath it, it would be sorted then by assigned if you did the sort by status. Here's another place I can change the points as well. Here's another place I can return by clicking on them. I can click on all of them and return all of them at once. So again, it's just what you get used to. Again, I can click over here and go to instructions to see what instructions I had pushed out to the students, or I can see the student work from going to that tab as well.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Could you please, real quick, show me once a student turns something in, where you can check real quick for plagiarism?
Oh yeah, great question. So if you've turned the plagiarism on, let me go back here to—
Oh, you have to turn it on first.
You have to turn it on first. So that's why
okay.
Yeah, you have to turn it on. And once you turn it on, you only have 3 per class. And then once you turn it on, it tells you that you can only do 3 assignments per class. And then once I turn this one on, then it says I have 2 assignments remaining for this classroom. So the workaround, you know, with some teachers is maybe creating a new classroom each quarter. So if that's something that you use a lot, is one workaround right now. Because again, many schools have gone to Google because of it's free, except all the data that they're collecting on us. But the G Suite Apps for Education version is free. But what we're seeing now, Google is, you know, pushing out some of these nice features. We get only a certain amount free, and then the rest you have to pay for if you have, or you get it through the enterprise account.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So my suggestion, maybe turn that on in a class that maybe you're not going to use students with, to play around to learn more about it. So, but when that turns on, then when the kids, when they do check for the plagiarism and you push it back out to them, I think it stays live for 45 days. Why? Because just with the internet, how things can change all the time, they don't guarantee the plagiarism after 45 days in case if that website's updated or changed. So Amber, great question. Thank you for asking. So then another thing I want to talk about before we go back to create here is if you see here on my classwork page, I've got all of these assignments here. I have some assignments that are numbered, and I accidentally numbered 2 assignments here. Let me go ahead and delete this one. And the reason why there's some people out there who swear by the numbering system. There's some people out there who don't like it. Pros and cons, it's up to you how you decide to use this. What some people like about the numbering system is that you can search on your classwork page. So if they know, if you know it in your head, in your brain too, that the second assignment, what you could do, or even the first assignment, let's talk about the first assignment. The naming convention of my assignments, if we start putting numbers here, here's one reason why. If I hit Control F on my screen, that lets me find on my screen. So if I know I assign something, the assignment number 1, I could put 1 in here. And here it lets me know, hey, there's 53 hits. Every time there's a number 1, it highlights the number 1, okay? So the reason behind doing the naming convention of the 3 numbers here is, watch this. So now if I want to search for my number 1 assignment, I go to #001. Oh, it's showing me I don't have any. So maybe I deleted that assignment. So let me see if I have the second assignment. There we go. So put the pound symbol there, or the number symbol, and then 002. It does not take a 2 from any of the dates or anything else. It just finds this assignment, and this would be an easy way for the kids to find their work and classwork. Again, this may work for some, it may not work for others. It's fine. Could you just do, instead of doing 3 numbers, could you do 2 numbers? Yeah, I don't see, you could do 2 or 3 numbers, I think would work. But do you see the difference? If I search for the second assignment there, it's showing me I have 38 hits. Every place there's a number 2, it highlights. Whereas if I put the number symbol there and then 002 in front of the assignment, it quickly finds that. So that's another way to think how to organize your assignments. And again, how do you do that? When you're creating the assignment, just get in the habit of putting down the number ahead of time. Another reason for that, I don't know if anybody noticed that in my Google Drive, when I go to my Google Drive, in my class drive folder, it organizes it by the name of the assignment. So if I look right here, see, I did have an assignment number 1, so I made a mistake somehow. I can see I've got my assignments and they're in chronological order. That works for some people, having the numbers there, or they just want to find, they know what the, going ABC order too. So again, a couple different ways to do that. And feel free, if people have other ways that they suggest on how they organize their topics, please put that in chat. Another thing with topics then, I can assign it to different topics and the kids know, where to go for that. You might have to explain how you've got your topics and how you've got them set up. But another thing here with topics is some teachers put their topic by the week. So everything for the week of July 27th, they'll go to that week to find the assignments. Everything for the week of August 3rd, and put their topics by the week. So a lot of different ways you can do that. And chat, Michelle, yeah, great question. Okay, and then Mark answered it. Yeah, I was meaning 3 assignments. So as you can see, this is the 3rd assignment, the 1st assignment, 2nd assignment, 54th assignment. You could use the numbers here. Another thing here on the assignment page, do you see where I have Google Slide Introduction? Right here, there's a comment box. If I click on that, I can see a class comment. So right here, Blake put a class comment when he wasn't muted to say that he needs help. Did he have to put it as a class comment? No, he could put it as a private comment too. The private comment won't show up here for everyone to see. It will just show up on his, on only his, if he did a private comment. So shows that Jennifer turned this in, everyone else that this was assigned to is missing. Why does it say missing? Because it's after the due date. If it was before the due date, it would show just assigned. So then I can put a message, please finish your work and turn back in, or whatever. Here, even though it was a class comment, it shows up right there as well. But if it was a private comment, I think we saw earlier, the private comment that Blake, or that I put, it shows it's a private comment. It only goes to Blake. Again, I will tell you, when I first was learning this, I was overwhelmed. Maybe you aren't, but I know how I learn, and that's why I just jumped in, learned this, you know, learned as I went. Am I still learning? I still am. But, you know, I let the kids know that this is new for me as well. And they were very forgiving and helping out as well. But go up here to create, and you can create different assignments, quiz. I didn't talk about all of these. I'm going to give you a chance to play around with this. But before I do that, let me talk about reuse post. If I click on reuse post here, so we were talking about reusing a post from another class. So whether you make a master class and reuse posts from that class, you can do that, or I can select any classes right here. Any of my archived classes, it shows archived right there in parentheses. I can still reuse a post there. Now, if I chose to delete this class, then I wouldn't be able to reuse any post from there. So if I go into this class and I reuse a post, let's say I want to have them complete a tutorial in Scratch, click on reuse. And then it just brings up the assignment page. It brings me the title. It has the instructions. I've had it before. Here, I've got where students can view this file. If I want, I can change that because I haven't posted this new one out to the students. I can add anything else to it that I want. You can hit create here, but how I always operate, and this is how Lisa does it, doesn't mean this is how you're going to do it. I have everything created ahead of time before I create the assignment. If you want to create the work as you create the assignment, you can. You have that option here. Over here, I've got it going to all my students. I can change that. It was 10 points before. Do I want to keep 10 points? If so, keep that. I do have to give it a new due date. Topic, it says Scratch, so it stays with that topic there. If I want to change it, I can. I added a rubric before, and do I want that rubric? If I do, I can keep that. If not, I can just X out of that so I don't have the rubric. And here's a rubric. If you've got rubrics out there, I think another place you can do, you can even upload rubrics from sheets. I haven't done that before, but if you already want to put the rubric in a sheet and upload it, I think that's a way you can do it. If not, you can just start creating a rubric from here. You can maybe even copy and paste it if you have it already out there on another file. And right here, so it's worth 10 points. So then this, make sure your points up here match the rubric. If I don't want this, I can X out of it. But then, so it's worth 10 points. If I change this, it should let me go in and edit it first. Once I change the points, it will update, but I've got sort the order of points by descending. I can change that. I can turn off scoring if I don't want the scoring on. And right here, let's say I wanted another level of this. I can duplicate this criteria so that I don't have to retype it again. I can come down here and I can even add another criterion right here. So again, I've got 3, 2, 1 points, and then I can put a title here. I can put a description here. So even though I'm reusing a rubric, I can still go in and edit it if I want to. So let's say I change the points for some reason. It automatically updates here and here. So I can change it back. And then again, automatically updates. So since I didn't make any new changes here, then I don't have to hit save, and I can just click X, and then it's right there. So then when I assign this to students, let me just go ahead and assign it to Blake here. So then you can see, then the rubric will be attached to this work. So let me go into Blake's account. So right here, he gets a notification on stream. If not, he can go to classwork. If he knows, he can go to Scratch. And then in this case, if you say, hey guys, I pushed out assignment number 4, he could even search for that if that's easy. Again, there's multiple ways to find the assignment. So here it's been assigned. He can click on it and he can see here the rubric right here. And do you see there's nothing for him to turn in here? So if in this case, if he needed to, he might take a screenshot of his Scratch assignment he completed. So he could take a screenshot and he could add it. So he could add it as a link or a file, depends on how he did the screenshot. And he could just add it there, put the link here, and it will be added here. Or if it's on his Google Drive, he can go to his Google Drive, put it there, and then let me just go to his Google Drive real quick. And let's say this is what he created for the assignment. He can hit insert. Oh, that file he doesn't own. So it does have to be a file he owns. Let me go to my drive. I don't know if he owns that file either. I think he owns this file. Let's see if that works. No. And see, he may not own that because he turned that in to the teacher and the teacher hasn't returned it. So I know he created that file, but it wasn't returned to him. So that's why it's important to return. I don't know, did I turn this in for Blake this morning? Was it returned? Yeah, I turned it in, couldn't attach. Okay, so I'm striking out there. But then as you can see, he can turn it in and then he can mark this as done. This will show that he didn't attach work, but he completed the tutorial in Scratch. So if for some reason you didn't have anything for them to turn in, it will show up as mark as done, and he can click mark as done, whether you saw it on his screen that he completed it. But that's why sometimes if I don't have them to complete a worksheet or anything, I can have him take a screenshot or take a picture of the assignment. If it was him doing a drawing on paper, he could hold that paper up to his camera, take a picture of that, and he could add that in as a link or a file here and turn it in that way. But if there's nothing to turn in, he could just mark as done so that you know that he's done that. If for some reason you don't have any, if there's nothing that you want them to attach to this assignment. Okay, take a deep breath out there.
Hey, hold on. What does the rubric look like to the student?
Okay, good question. Let me go over to the student. So the rubric here for the student, it just, if he clicks on this, follow it, he can click on it and see. So the rubric looks like this, and then he can see how he can get the full 7 points, 3 points, or whatever. So let me go to the teacher side of it and show you that I will grade his, even though, let's see, I'm gonna go down to Scratch. Even though it's not been turned in, let me just go into Blake's. So let's say he got a 5 out of 7. I can just click on that and it shows, it puts a 5 out of 7. It also shows, here's how many points he got. But if you want to click on that to get more detail, okay, so I'll give him 2 points for this because he only put 2 sprites in instead of 3. So then on Blake's, Let me reload the page. Did I not? Let's see. So, oh, it's as a draft. Let me return it. So then Blake will get notification that he got a 7 out of 10. He can see then on the rubric of how many points he got for each criteria.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for asking, Amber. So then again, what's nice about this, all of their work, all of their grades, the rubrics is tied into one assignment that they can see. And then this will save you from maybe necessarily writing comments here. You know, you got a 7 out of 10 because you didn't have all of the necessary items on the assignment here. So then if I go back here to my slide deck here, I know I've talked more about classwork tab and the grades, and I haven't given you time to do the challenges. I'll be quiet for a while. I'll take questions, or if you want me to show you some other things, I can. I will give you some time here to work on the challenges to here on slide 30 and 33 to give you a chance. Did I go over how to do all of this? I didn't, but hopefully this will kind of give you an idea that you don't have to show the kids everything at the beginning. Maybe this is my way of challenging some of the students who can figure it out on their own, but hopefully you have your classroom, whether it's face-to-face or your remote learning classroom set up where the kids feel comfortable asking questions, whether it's through the chat or unmuting themselves. So, and that's why I love the chat, whether it's here in Zoom, Google Meet, or Google Classroom, is the students don't always have to wait for the teacher to respond. It's supposed to hopefully make your life easier too, that they can help each other out than always relying on you. So I'll be quiet here. I'll give you 10 minutes here to work on the challenges, ask questions, unmute yourself, and or take another break if you need to, because this been a long time for you to sit. Amber, I see your question here in chat. The 3 per class, it's, yeah, 3 per class when you have it. So when I went to my classroom, and if I use that originality report or the plagiarism report, it showed me then after I use 1, I'll have 2 more available for this classroom. So that's why the workaround, some of the teachers who use it a lot, they create a new class every quarter so that they can get the plagiarism report 3 per quarter instead of 3 per year, that they've got that same class. Hopefully that answers what you were asking, Amber. If it doesn't, feel free to unmute or put it back in chat. Crystal's asking, so the students can't see their grade until it is returned to them. So let me go back here. So I can, let's say here, Jennifer, she's turned this in, and, or, you know, I can't show you Jennifer's screen. So right here on Blake, on this USA Geography here, I give him a 10 out of 10. We'll switch to Blake's to see if he can see that grade. So right here, it says he's turned it in. The teacher's graded it 10 out of 10. He does not see that right now. So then for him to see that, then I would need to return it to him because it's just showing it's a draft that I haven't push that out back to him. So yeah, great question, Crystal. And then so here's another view. Then so Blake can go to see all of his work, what's been assigned, what's missing. He can even sort it if he just wants to see what all he has missing. He can sort it by that, like, ooh, I got a lot of work yet to do. Or, hey, here's everything I've turned in, or has been returned to me. Yeah, Kayla, great question. That's what I'm actually working on, about some Google Classroom videos or resources. I think Google has a lot out there. I haven't compiled them with all the links, but that's my goal to do before next Wednesday. So if you want, and that's why I made this, this Google slide deck view only, that I can add things to it. So let me, I can make a note here. I'm trying to think if I've got, let me get this other device here. But Google has a lot of stuff, and they even have a lot of stuff for parents as well. And then, oh, another one, I might have it in my slide deck now that I say that. Under the resources, I've got parent resources videos. I know Common Sense Media. And it might be one of those links as well. Common Sense Media has some parent and student resources. And feel free, if anybody else has some resources out there for parents and students, drop it in chat as well. Because that, again, that's what I love about these workshops, is we can all collaborate, help each other out. And so, yeah, go commonsense.org, and then I went to for educators. I know I've seen some resources out here. This Google, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I've just never taken time to put it all in one place, and that's my goal by next Wednesday to do that. Yeah, Emily, great question there. And hey, kudos to you trying to juggle, trying to learn and be a parent as well here. So she's asking, is there a way to archive assignments without deleting them? Not that I'm aware of. That's, again, been another big ask of teachers. So the workaround, what some teachers are doing is creating a topic over here and maybe first quarter or something, and then moving some of those assignments in that topic then, you know, to have everything from first quarter. I don't think you can, yeah, I was seeing if you could move a topic within a topic. You can't right now. Do I see that maybe coming in the future? I would think so, just kind of like how folders, you can move folders within folders. But if anybody knows a workaround, what of Emily is asking, please let us know. I know, Katie, you said you've been using Google Classroom for years. And I know many of you others out there are too. Any workaround that you do to get some assignments off of the classwork page? Usually Google comes out with some new updates with Google Classroom, usually in August and January. So I haven't heard or seen anything leaked about any changes coming here this August, but hopefully we'll see some changes that will make our lives even easier using Google Classroom with our students. So we're nearing August, so I would think that something would be coming out sooner than later. All right. If you're still working on the challenges, that's fine. You can keep working. I did want to take time and show some of you how to insert your picture and a video if you want to learn about that. So someone is on this, and that's fine. They just changed the background to everyone's. Don't panic. If that was you, all you have to do is come up here to hit undo, and you can change the background back. And that's sometimes the problem you run into when you do have lots of people editing it. But if you're pushing this out through Google Classroom, you will be able to see the version history of who does what. So again, okay, perfect. Thank you. I bet whoever did that, you might have been sweating a little bit out there. Don't panic. That's you. Hopefully you learned a new trick and nothing hurts. So right here, all you have to do here is go to insert. And if you hit insert image, you can go to a selfie. For some reason, it's not letting me right now. And then same thing with video. Just like you can add a YouTube video to Classroom, it's the same thing here within Google Slides. So if you're needing help with this more and have questions, again, stay on here at the end and I will go over it. But yeah, people are saying they want to learn about Google Meets. Yes, I sure will. So we've got here, 12 minutes left. So yes, I will go over Google Meets. In here, I've got some resources here for Google Meet. I've got a bunch of extensions, if your district allows you to use other extensions that will allow you to use it. But you can go about going to Google Meets a lot of different ways. Using Classroom is by far the best. And again, that's my opinion, but when you're using a Google Meet with students. So earlier, I talked about here in Classroom that you can go to your Google Meet right here from the classwork page or from the stream. And here, when we first started remote learning back in March and teachers were meeting with your students, you had to go to Google Meet app and get a link and paste it to the Google Classroom. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. So let's say Blake and his friends decide, oh, let's go into the link and meet before class time. They've got the link available to them, but here's the trick. So here's Blake going into the Google Meet. And he cannot get in. It comes up as an error because he can't get in until the teacher is in. So that's why it is okay for the Google Meet link to be out there. For the student side of it, they can't get in until the teacher's in. So it says something went wrong. Now, if I switch back to the teacher side of it, if you don't see your Google Meet link up here for some reason, you might have figured out here on the gear, you have control over it here on the Meet link. And again, what some teachers thought, they had to make it not visible to students because the students would get into it when they weren't in it, but that's not the case. Google has it set up. Students can't get into the Google Meet without the teacher there. So now, if I, as a teacher, go into the Google Meet and I click on the Google Meet, It's pulling up. And now since I have all of these extensions running in the background for my Google Meet, it's saying it's taking a minute. It's giving me some messages here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off my microphone there. And then if I go, I'll go ahead. It says no one else is here. I'll join now. I'm in my Google Meet. So then let me switch over to the student side of it. So what Blake will need to do, just click off of that. He'll go into the Google Meet now, and it lets him join. Why? Because the teacher's in there. I'll go ahead and mute him as well. And it's showing who's in the Meet already, and join now. And so here I can see who's in the Meet. I'm in, this is Blake's account. This is the student. So here from the student side, can see that Blake's in the meeting, the teacher's in the meeting. Chat, we can chat back and forth just like you can chat back and forth here in Zoom. You can turn on captions. The students can even present now, just like some of you. Did I have someone this morning share their screen? Same thing, instead of share screen, it's present now. If he wants to, sometimes if you want to get response from your students without them unmuting, using this Google extension called Nod, he can put a thumbs up, he can raise his hand, and it shows Blake raised his hand here. So if I switch over to the teacher side of it, it's letting me know Blake raised his hand, okay? The students will have to have these extensions pushed out to them as well if you use Google Meet. Since I've got two different Meets up here, I've got some things here. And I think that's my Google Attendance. So your Meet may not look like mine because based off of your extensions, but the extensions that I've turned on mine, here on slide 53, I think I have most of these extensions on running in the background. So it's kind of lagging a little bit here. So raised his hand. Now let's say for some reason, Blake, is talking and I don't want him to talk anymore. I can come over here to Blake's person. It's under the people tab here, and I can mute him. Now I can't unmute him, but I have the ability to mute anyone. I can hide participants if I want. I can pin them up there. I can also, I have the grid view. I could turn it and put it on the grid view as well. And then another thing is to remember to do. Let's say we're done with this meeting and a couple kids keep talking and I leave. I say, okay guys, see you later. Have a great day. And I close out of it. If I close out of it before the students leave, then I will want to make sure before I close out of it to remove them. And what do I mean by that? Let me go ahead. Well, let me show you something else before I show you that in case if I have trouble getting back in. But down here, again, I have some different icons. This icon is added here because I added the Google Meet attendance, that it will take attendance for me. I added this, I think, party button. By clicking on it, it just puts confetti there. It's showing me now that it's a pro feature. Okay, so they're wanting me to, there's a free version and a paid version. Okay, so they've pushed that out that it costs. So you might not see that confetti. It's saying that maybe I'm only seeing it. Are you seeing the confetti on the screen? Okay, so you're still seeing that right now. So I don't know if that'll be available in the future or not. So again, some of the extensions, they push out. There's a free version and a paid version. So perfect. So yeah, Kim said she saw a video where to change the Meet link every time. That's how it started off in the beginning. You don't have to do that anymore if you push it out through Google Classroom, because as you saw, Blake couldn't get into the Meet link until the teacher was there. It was popped up as an error. So let me just close this out. So to close out of it, I can just click on this X up here, and it says leave site. Yeah, I want to leave it. And I still had students in there. So if I go to Blake, this is Blake. He's still in the chat or in the Google Meet. So what you will need to do is remove the student. Let's say, you know, for some reason he's still on here and maybe he's not at his computer right then and there. Make sure then he goes back and, or you go back and remove him. So he's still on there. Any other students would still be on there too. So then as the teacher side, I can go back into this Meet link and it will still have the students in it of when I left it. So again, it's taking a while to load because I've got all of these extensions running in the background, and I'm also on Zoom. Okay. So if I join now, look, it's Blake is on the call. Why is he on the call? Because he was, sorry, I forgot to mute that, because he was on there when I left. So that is the only way that they can go into a Meet, is if you're there first. So let's say I'm done, Blake's still not leaving, I can remove him as the teacher. So I'm in the teacher account. So right here, this is where you would remove the student. Do you have to remove them? Only if they're not listening to you and they're not leaving. But before you leave the Meet link, you'll want to make sure that the students leave themselves or you remove them. So here, if I remove him, it's saying, do you want to remove him from the call? Go ahead and click remove, and he's removed. And then, so I can close out of it. If I go to Blake's account, then he's automatically removed from there. So my suggestion, again, this is, since Google has pushed out this Meet link here in Google Classroom, my experience this has been the best way to do it. I don't have to go to the Google Meet app and create a link and push it out. Because before Google pushed this out, what we were having to do is push out in an announcement the Google Meet link maybe 10 minutes before class started. So that was something else you had to do. And then you had to then remove it, so then they couldn't get into it. Students cannot get into this Meet link until the teacher is there. Just like with the Zoom call this morning, I had it set up where participants could join before I was on. Participants then could talk and stuff. So you could set up Zoom the same way that participants aren't in Zoom until the teacher's there as well, or you could set up a waiting room. But Google Meet is coming out with some new features. Again, there's been talk, some of the features are going to be in the enterprise account and not in the free account. We'll see for sure what they will do, because they were going to put breakout rooms and some of the other features in the paid account, and there's been a lot of backlash. Like, hey, I could really use this. Not just, you know, one teacher complaining, but multiple teachers saying, hey, can you make all of these features free for us during remote learning? Because some school districts have already made the announcement that they're doing remote learning starting first quarter for sure. So a lot of teachers are asking, our school districts are asking, so we'll see what comes of that. So again, August, I think we'll see some other changes here sooner than later. As you can see here, there's some other resources here. I had threw Cami in here, but I can talk about that here. But before I do, I know some people, I want to honor your time. I like starting on time, ending on time. I'll end here with slide 60, a quote by Maya Angelou. I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. Hopefully you are continually reflecting on your time with remote learning earlier this year, to how you might do it this fall if you are remote learning with the students. But hopefully we will see some positives come out of this, that we can incorporate more blended learning and even differentiate even more than what we have done. But just constantly changing, improving, and reflecting. So thank you for your time here. Here on slide 61, if you do have time, if you can fill out this evaluation, I think it's 3 or 4 questions. I would appreciate that as well. And again, appreciate your time. And we're here for you. Just remember to breathe and go enjoy the rest of your Thursday. But for those of you, I will stay on here for a while, try to answer your questions. I can go over Cami, but before I go over Cami, I want to see, are there any questions about Google Classroom, about Google Meet that maybe you put in chat and I didn't see, or you're thinking of now?
Hi, this is Kim Gerard.
Yeah, hi, Kim.
Just to clarify, you said if a student was still in the meet, you had to go in and physically remove them.
Correct.
So should you just say everybody needs to sign off so you don't have to go back in?
Yeah. So just like, you know, with Zoom, when I can do a leave meeting for everyone right now and everyone would leave. With Meet, if I would leave, everyone would still stay in there that was in there. So I would just say, okay, thanks guys, have a great day, whatever, and then wait until everyone's out. Let's say it's been 5 minutes and you still have a couple kids hanging on and whatever. I say, okay guys, we need to leave. And if they don't leave, you know, just tell them that you're going to remove them and leave that way. But for the most part with students, if they're right there by the computer, they usually sign out or, you know, close out of their Google Meet tab.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kim. Great question. Thanks for asking.
I had a question about pushing out the extensions to the students. Like you said, they may not have them. How do you do that?
Yeah, great question. So most school districts, again, to comply with the Student Online Privacy Protection Act or the different laws out there, the Google admin for your district, whoever's in charge of your Google domain, could push it out to the students. How most school districts set it up, they have a organizational unit for students and one for teachers, but if they push out the extensions only for the teachers, then the students won't have some of the functionality. So some of these extensions would have to be pushed out for both the teacher and the students. And again, it's you know, for privacy. Now, some of these extensions, the reason why they have control over it, again, for the, you know, safety and security, because some of these extensions might collect data that is not allowed by these laws. So that's why maybe some of the extensions couldn't be pushed out, or your district policies.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Does that make sense, Kaylee?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, or is it Callie? I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's Callie. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, Stephanie, great question. You can differentiate by, you know, making sure you don't select that student in Google Classroom when you send out that assignment and classwork. Just select all the students that you want to have that assignment, and then you could reuse the assignment for another student, but then just change that. Of course, I chose an assignment that had a Google form and not, let me choose this one here. So just like here where you put students view file, just push this out to the students that you need it to go to, and then do another one. You could reuse post of the same assignment, but then just change it to editable file instead of viewable. Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh, or Steph, I guess there's two Stephanies. The first Stephanie who asked that, does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Any other questions about Classroom or Meet? And if so, please ask. If not, for anyone who's still on, I can go over Cami with you. All right, well, I'll start going over Cami, but if I missed a question that someone needed answer, please put it back in chat or interrupt me. But what Cami allows you to do is it allows you to annotate PDF files. Again, right here, there's free and paid version. The difference between that is right here on slide 58. Here's what you get for the free account. When I was in the classroom, I used the free account, but there's a teacher plan and they have some, you know, some tools on that are nice, but I found some other free extensions that, like here, text to speech. I don't need the paid version of Cami for text to speech because I could use another extension that's free out there that will read the text to the student. Here on slide 59, here's the basic plan. There's a teacher plan, and then there's even a plan for a school district. So if a school district did it and, you know, buying multiple license, there's a custom plan for them that your school district can look into. But if I go, let me search my drive and open up a PDF file here. I'll go to PDFs owned by me. So let's say I have this PDF of a digital citizenship document I need the kids to sign. So right here on this one, I was playing around with it. What I want to do here is I want to open with Cami. So, or it lets me annotate it with Cami. So on the back end, I would have to add this extension first. I think right now I've got, you can, when you first get Cami, and if you need help adding Cami as an extension, let me know. I can show that here at the end of this as well. But it gives you a chance to try the pro trial because of course they want you to experience all of the benefits of the paid version over the free version. So as you can see, this PDF file I opened up in Cami, and what it will allow me to do then, if I need, like for example, I've signed over here, I can go to the text box here and just click and put a text box, and then I can type on the PDF file. So in this case, I was typing Blake's name here to put the sign here. Now, I will tell you in the paid version, you can put your signature there. But the workaround, you know, just put a text box and maybe you can copy and paste your signature. But here I've got my signature. So if I need to insert my signature, here's this signature. I can hit insert and then I can click and drag it wherever I want to insert it then. I can come over here. I can mark on my paper here. As you can see, I can do a markup. I can do a strike through. I can go and do a text highlighter. Once I choose one, I can choose a different color. So I can mark up the page. I can do a box highlighter as well to highlight what I want to see is. There we go. It didn't take before. I do have the undo button up here. But how I used it in the classroom a lot, I used where the kids could mark up a page. They could use the text box on the page. So this was the free version of Cami. If you go out there, I think there may be some other tutorials you can learn, but then once I do this, I can download this again. And when I download, what you'll want to make sure you do is download it with the annotations, the things you've added to it. Okay. Then I can even, what's nice about this, Cami integrates with Google. So on the back end, you can select a folder to put this in your Google Drive. So how I say it is that some of these extensions and apps play nicely with Google. So on the back end, I don't know if Cami had to pay money to Google to allow this to happen or how that works. But you've got some other options here as well. And then Once you've done that, you can begin export. But again, if you don't use Google Drive, you can just download it to your computer as well. So then here, if you have the printing capabilities, you can even print it, you can save it. So the save, they still have that floppy disk icon that kids today, like, what is that? But that's just a quick overview of Cami. You've got to have the extension. And to download the extension, you go to the Chrome Web Store. And it's just chrome.google.com. And then here's the Chrome Web Store. You type in the extension that you're looking for. Sometimes you don't know what extension you're looking for, so you can search it. And here's the Cami extension. Now, if you're using your school account, you might not be able to download extensions to it. You might want to try it on your personal account because, again, your Google admin has control over that. Yeah, so I'm reading in chat. Okay, Kim answered yes already too. Perfect, yeah. You just download it and you can just open it. When it shows open with, if you're not in your Google Drive and opening it from there, just come up here. It should be on your extension bar and just go and select Cami and open it there. So here's my Cami extension. Yep. Kim, were you able to answer all the questions out there? All right. Any other questions that we missed?
This is Katie Mall. I have a question about Google Drawings.
Yeah.
Is that an extension like Cami is, or is that something else? I've tried to get it on my G Suite, and I didn't know if it's maybe just something not available with the free version or what.
No, it's under your apps. Yeah, great question, Katie. If you don't see it under your apps, or if you go to the waffle and you don't see the drawings over there, like my drawings not there, so I can go in my Drive and go to New, and I can go to Google Drawings there, or I can type in drawings.google.com and go to it there. But if you want to try it and let us know if you have access to it right now. Oh, Katie, I didn't hear you.
Thank you.
Oh, you found it? Okay, good.
Able to find it. Sorry. Yeah, I found it. I just wasn't sure because I tried to do one and save it, but then I couldn't go back and find it in my Drive. And I think maybe it was just a matter of where I saved it. So I'll play around with that a little bit more.
Okay,
Thank
yeah.
you.
And play around with it. If you can't figure it out, feel free. Let me know. Love to help. So another thing in Drive, I can just, I don't know if you saw me search just for a PDF. I can go up here and click on this drop down arrow and just search for, my drawings right here as well. You can search for file type. And then also it's over here when you go to New, you can do a new drawing from your Drive as well. Yeah, so thanks for asking, Katie. Any other questions or comments? Oh, I'm looking on here. Someone wanted to merge classroom to Seesaw. I didn't cover that. All right. Well, you guys have a great day, and there's no other questions or comments. Hopefully see you at another workshop here in the near future. Oh, Jennifer, I just saw your message here. It doesn't seem to work. If you're still on, I can put the evaluation here in the chat that you can get it from there. See if you can copy and paste that link. If not, I can, if you want to send me an email, I can then send it to you through an email as well. Okay, you got it, Jennifer. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and feel free to reach out if there's anything I can help you with here.